Hello and welcome to the Claret and Blue podcast. Something very different from us, but something familiar for those that are fans of the Football Manager content that we did a couple of years ago. Bringing it back, but in a slightly different way. We're not doing the live streams because they take a long time, and I don't have that time anymore. So we're going to do what they call in the community, Matt, Football Manager experiments, where you kind of take a concept and you let Football Manager simulate that concept and you talk about it, basically. Obviously, this is fantasy football. This is simulating. This is a game. This is not real life. We do plenty of content around what is happening at Aston Villa. We did a couple of Q&As last week. We did the big first episode of the Villa Social. If you want Villa content, you can go and find it. But we are going to throw ourselves into this virtual world for the next, half an hour or so. If that's not for you, Football Manager is not your thing, you don't need to tell us in the comments that, this is rubbish, stick to football. Click the X up wherever it is. Go about your day. For those that are into this kind of thing and enjoy Football Manager, we're going to throw ourselves into it and take it seriously because we find this fun. This is interesting to us, and hopefully that comes across through the video. So, yeah, enjoy it if you can. So what we've got for viewers today is we gave Unai Emery a lifetime contract at Villa, and this is what happened. So he can't decide to leave us, but that doesn't mean that the club can't decide to sack him. Sacking Unai Emery is sacrilege, surely not. There's a regular watcher of our content called Alberto Solano. If you listen to the Q&A, he sends a question in most weeks. That name might be familiar. He loves the Football Manager content we used to do. He loves the podcast. And he said, I'll basically do the hard work for you. I'll give you a database where I'll simulate all this stuff and send it to you. So I've not had to play until Unai Emery turns 70, which is 19 seasons away. I've not had to do any of that. He's just sent me all the information and we're going to comb through it and just see basically what happens to Aston Villa.
I'm intrigued. I am very intrigued. Can I just point out that I ask a question most weeks on? I never get priority on asking questions.
Do you not?
Do I need to do a Football Manager database for you?
Well, it does help. Yeah, it does help. If we flick over to this screen, you can now see that we are in the 12th of June 2042. Our kind of pretend manager here is unemployed because we've simulated so far into the future. On this database, we now have access to 19 years worth of information. So what you can see on the screen at the moment is the 2023-24, which is the first season in the game, but this is like the season that we're in now in real life. So Villa are in the Champions League, they've got Onana, they've got Maatsen, etc. This is this season. I'll blur it for now, just not to spoil anything. Matt, where do you think Villa finish? This is this year, or the challenges of the Champions League, the signings they've made. What would you predict?
Knowing the nuances of Football Manager and the way that it likes to throw through curveballs in there, I'd probably go mid-table at best.
Okay. Villa finished 7th and they qualified for the Europa League, which I think that's a decent season. I'll take that this year. To be in real life, to be in Europe again is what we want. Man City were title winners, Arsenal runners-up. Ipswich, Palace and Fulham relegated. Leicester and Southampton survive. West Ham, our Conference League, have qualified for the Conference League, so they must have won a trophy, I assume, of some kind. If we go to the schedule very quickly, you can also see some Champions League results there. We'll get to those in a second. Villa ended the season pretty well, actually, in the Premier League, which is good to see. Very dodgy period around Christmas. Let's go to the Cup competitions then. FA Cup, 3rd round exit.
Sounds about right. Man City over 2 legs.
Brilliant. It's usually United, isn't it? Drew in the first leg, 2-2 at Villa Park, and lost in the second. Carabao Cup, semi-finalists, not too bad. West Ham. West Ham must have won the Carabao Cup, haven't they, if they've qualified for Europe. So we've lost to the eventual winners. That's not too bad. Champions League, though, is the one that we're all waiting for. Obviously, as I said at the top, this is the old format, the traditional group stages. How do you think Villa get on in that?
I'd say we struggled to get the group. I think that we'd have had a tough ride of it, maybe. But you never know. Just depends on those first few group games.
So Villa were in Group F in the Champions League and qualified. They got through to the knockouts. Benfica topped the group. Villa was second with 10 points, ousting Inter Milan also on 10 points.
Some good away days in there, aren't there? Lisbon, Milan and Zagreb. You take them all day long as 3 away days. And yeah, as traditional groups go, yeah, I'd fancy a bit of that. But good to see we snuck through in the end. I mean, only on goal difference, obviously, but you take that to see Inter, who at the time what would be the Serie A champions. You take that all day long.
So they get through to the round of 16. What's your prediction? You didn't think they'd make the groups. Did they get past the round of 16?
I'm being a pessimist. I'm going to say no. I think we struggled.
Okay, let's have a look. Villa played Real Madrid and lost 3-2 on aggregate. Blimey.
Oh,
okay,
so won the home leg.
So we beat Real Madrid in the first leg, 2-1 at Villa Park. Goals from Ollie Watkins and Moreno. What a night that would have been. Oh, bloody hell. I love that obviously we're in 2042 at the moment, so it says this was 6,000 days ago, which is crazy. And we lost the away leg 2-0, Camavinga and Rudiger getting the goals at the Bernabeu. And Villa crash out in the round of 16. But if this was this year's season of Villa in real life, to finish 7th, qualify for the Europa League, get a round of 16 clash at Real Madrid, Carabao Cup semi-finalists, that's a good year, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. You take that in an absolute heartbeat, wouldn't you? I mean, clearly performance from the lads was good in the first leg, but clearly put too much into it by the time that the second leg rolled around. So, I mean, you take it, and at least Jude Bellingham didn't score in either leg either.
Have a stab at the top scorer, Matt.
Oh, Leon Bailey.
Oh, Leon Bailey. Close, but not right. Cameron Archer in the save. He does not leave. He gets 11 goals, so a pretty rubbish top scorer really in terms of the number, but interesting nonetheless. If I just roll through to 2024, 25 and see Villa's schedule, we can kind of start to guess by these kind of coloured dots how Villa got on. So we're in the Europa League phase now, we're into the new format, so we'll get to that in a second. A couple of greens here. Villa are winning games. That looks positive. Just from a quick glance from that, how do you think they got on in this season's Premier League?
See, it looks solid, but I'm attracted to that November, December where the red dots start to appear. I reckon we took top 6, but probably Conference League at best, based on that patchy sort of midpoint, say January and December maybe. So I reckon Europa Conference maybe.
Premier League for that year was 8th, but we qualified for the Champions League, which means Villa must have won the Europa League, which is massive. We'll get back to that in a second. 8th, not amazing, but still being in Europe, obviously back to the Champions League is brilliant. Back to Villa's schedule then, let's have a look at that Europa League. Villa finished 4th in the Europa League phase, which is really nice, straight through to the last 16, winning 6 of their 8 games, 18 points. Excellent. So obviously we know that Villa go on to win this competition, which is unbelievable. Let's just have a quick look through. Obviously we didn't play the playoff round. Round of 16, we beat PSV. Nice. Quarter final, beat Valencia. Very, very nice. 4-1.
Team. Very nice.
Yeah. Semis, Galatasaray, a 6-1 aggregate. Nice.
Beat them 3-0 at the Galatasaray stadium. You'd take that wouldn't you?
What a statement of intent that would be. Finalists would have been Tottenham or Getafe.
Oh, hello.
Tottenham. An all-English final. Nice. Villa running out winners 2-1 in the Europa League to qualify back for the Champions League, which is, excellent stuff. Domestic Cups, we've got a FA Cup semi-final, a defeat to Chelsea, so much further than the previous year, and a Carabao Cup 4th round exit to Arsenal, as expected.
Looks like a new signing did well there as well, but a Yuri Alberto, solid FM signing, isn't he? Scored in the semis, in the Chelsea game, there you go.
Yuri Alberto, a new signing that year. He was signed for 24 million from Corinthians, and he was top scorer this year with 14 in the league, 14 goals, 2 assists. Not terrible. Still quite low, isn't it, for a top scorer, 14? I suppose if the goals are coming from elsewhere. A couple of notable transfers in this year. We loaned Ian Maatsen to Forest, which is bizarre of what we know in real life. It's kind of the Alex Moreno, isn't it, of the in-the-game world. Yeah. And we sold Jacob Ramsey, which is never nice to see. He went to West Ham. Do you want to have a guess at the figure that Villa got for PSR?
46.
41. Close enough. I'll give you that. Rolling on to the next season then, 25-26. Lots of red across this one. Not as much green as you would want. Straight away, I'm drawn to an FA Cup final defeat to Newcastle.
Yeah, but we beat the Flu in the Europe Sam Club Challenge. Fluminense. I'm aware of that, by the way. It's Fluminense, but equally we beat Blues away, so the final doesn't matter because we beat Blues away. Yeah,
beat Blues at St Andrews on the way to the final. Lost to Newcastle, 2 sides that have not won a trophy for a while. Carabao Cup 3rd round exit to Tottenham, Europa League final repeat. Yeah, not amazing. FA Cup final is great to see. Your Champions League we'll get back to in a second. Premier League doesn't look amazing, to be honest, does it, with this red and this green in here. We finished 8th again, for 2 years in a row, qualifying for the Conference League this time. So we didn't get a Europa League or Champions League win to get us back in there, back down to Conference League. Arsenal finally won a league title with 98 points. Wolves relegated. Excellent. Champions League then, that's what the one we all want to see. How do we do this year? League phase, Matt. We didn't get through it.
That's a brutal league phase. That looks like we've played Barca and we took on Real Madrid as well.
Oh, we only just didn't make it as well. We were 25th. We didn't make it by goal difference. There were 5 teams on 10 points. So Villa only just didn't make it. Porto, Real Madrid, Leverkusen, Celtic, Sevilla, Barcelona, PSV. I mean, that's tough, isn't it?
Yeah, that's tough.
What I am seeing, though, Super Cup win.
On pens as well. You'd take it.
Love to see it. So Villa relatively successful in these early years under Emery, which is kind of bodes well. Just to recap, we've had a League Cup semi-final, an FA Cup semi-final, an FA Cup final, a Europa League win, a Super Cup win. That's a bloody great start for Emery, isn't it?
Yeah, you'd be building the statue at that point, wouldn't you? You don't need much more else from him.
I'd be doing it now, to be honest.
Yeah.
Let's roll forward again to 26, 27. A lot of red.
We're falling off a cliff, haven't we?
Yeah. If anyone's not aware, red is a defeat, yellow is a draw, green is a win. Just from the eye test there, Villa have not won many games in the Premier League. The cup competitions again, terrible. Carabao Cup 3rd round exit to Brentford. FA Cup 4th round exit to Arsenal. So this is a drastically worse season than the one prior. 11th in the Premier League. No Europe at all.
That's not as bad as I was expecting, I must admit. Those red dots are doing a bit of disservice there, but I guess that's pre-Christmas. I mean, after Christmas, after the FA Cup loss, Emery must have shoved a rocket up a few of them because, we must have turned it around somewhat by the looks of it.
League phase in the Conference League, we topped it straight through to the last 16. We were unbeaten, won 5, drew 1, 16 points. So we're into the round of 16. Villa were 7-1 winners against Lech Poznan over on aggregate. Into the quarter-final, 4-3 defeat to Austria Vienna.
It's those Vienna clubs, isn't it? It's like Rapid Vienna 2.0, but Austria Vienna.
A weird coincidence there with real life. Bologna and Young Boys played each other, two of our real life Champions League counterparts. Okay, so not a great season then. 11th, early rounds in the domestic cups. Conference League quarter-finalists after smashing through the league phase is disappointing. Yuri Alberto was Villa's top scorer again with 16. We finally sold Ian Matson after his loan spell to Forest. He went to Forest for a measly 13 million. And just keeping an eye on real-life players at the moment, Diego Carlos leaves on a free to Brazil, so he lasts another 4 years. And we signed Johan Bakayoko from PSV on a free. A little bit more on him later, Matt. Next season, 27-28, we'll start with the cup competitions. Carabao Cup 2nd round, the first opportunity. There's no bye to the 3rd round anymore. A 3-2 defeat to West Ham. Cameron Archer is still there scoring goals, as is Rory Wilson, which is nice to see. A 3-0 defeat to Leeds in the 3rd round of the FA Cup. And Leeds actually, again, spoiler alert, they've become pretty good. Where are you guessing that Villa finished this season?
Well, I'm guessing the bed sheets were out by, the 30th of January, 2028? Yeah, I reckon by then the bed sheets were out, but I reckon 12th.
Villa finished 10th, so just in the top half. Everton qualified for the Conference League in 9th, so you'd assume they've won some kind of silverware. Chelsea, league winners, Crystal Palace, Wolves and Blackburn. Wolves come back up and straight back down again. There's no kind of weird teams in there yet. Leeds are back up, I suppose. As I've just alluded to, they become pretty good, but no kind of rogue shouts have been promoted just yet. No Europe to talk about, no Europe in this season at all, so nothing to talk about there. A couple of transfer notes. We loaned out Barrenechea and Moreno. Moreno is still around. And Leon Bailey, Matt, leaves on a free to Real Madrid.
I mean,
fair enough.
They say that football managers like real life, and you can just see it now, can't you?
Right, okay, let's roll forward again. We'll skip the schedule for now. We'll just go straight in at the deep end to the Premier League finish for 28-29. 8th, an improvement. an improvement on the year before. We've now qualified for the Conference League again, which is decent. Arsenal are back to winning the league. The top kind of 6 or 7 clubs are the ones you expect at the moment. Newcastle, Spurs, Liverpool, they're all still up there. Stoke have come up and gone straight down. Leeds have got relegated. Bristol City, Matt, there's a bit of a rogue team.
You could see it, to be fair. They've got in real life, they've got the money and the investment, haven't they? You could see it, but I'm amazed they've survived. And something like Stoke, who you'd think might stick it about, but have gone straight down.
So we know that we finished 8th this year, qualified for the Conference League. FA Cup, defeat to Albion. Over 2 legs.
Replay as well.
Yeah, replay, sorry. Carabao Cup, 4th round exit, of course, Manchester United. Garnacho and Højlund are still there, unbelievably. I bet Ten Hag isn't. Other notable bits and pieces from this season, from the notes that Alberto Solano sent me. Top scorer this year was Cameron Archer. He's overtaken Yuri Alberto in this one season, scoring 13. We signed a lad called João Rego from Newcastle for 21.5 million. Sold Costa Nedeljkovic to Blackburn for 600 grand, which is quite funny. I mean, the game it's great for like scouting and football managers, like a tool that clubs have used in the past and like media outlets have used in the past, but it doesn't always get things spot on. Like you'd like to think Nedeljkovic has got a better future ahead of him than 600 grand to Liverpool in 6 years' time, but you never know. Names that we know now: Buendia leaves on a free to Saudi to get the bag, and Tyrone Mings retired. He finally comes back from his ACL, plays another 6 or 7 seasons with Villa, and then retires. That's a nice story. That's a nice little tidbit.
Yeah, he'd go down as a club legend at that point. If he's not already, I think he'd go down as a club legend at that point. And as for Buendia to kick it out for 4 more years, fair play to him before grabbing the Saudi money. We'll
go into the schedule then of the following year, 29-30. This is a year that Villa will be in Europe, so we'll get to that in a second. Premier League again, lots of red, but a big spell of here of wins. I don't think these are all consecutive. No, the dates aren't in order, but a lot of wins here in this middle section, but a lot of red in this section as well. You would expect from those kind of numbers, I'm thinking a mid-table finish again here.
Yeah, I reckon 10th. I mean, we've beaten a few good teams in there, but yeah, say 10th.
9th. Again, that's pretty much where Villa are, to be honest. Like they've always been so far in and around Europe. I think they had 1 year when they weren't in it, but the rest of it, they've been in Europe all the time. They've never really finished higher than 7th, I don't think, off the top of my head, which again is not brilliant, but to be in and around Europe, and we've gone to some cup finals and stuff, is decent, I suppose. I would expect Villa in real life to be a little bit better than mid-table, to be honest. The finishes of 10th and 9th and 11th of the previous seasons, but they kind of get in there. And again, a slightly rogue one, Brentford have qualified for the Europa League by finishing above us. Bristol City survived, fair play to them. West Brom have come back up and back down again. One massive thing that happened this year was Nassef Sawiris leaves. And I don't have enough information go into the details and show you what happened because of just the way the game is. The 12th of May 2030, it just says Nassef Sawiris leaves and a new chairperson takes over as part of a consortium. Cup competitions, a Carabao Cup quarter-final. Brentford, again, they finished above us. Now they're beating us in the cup competitions twice in the FA Cup as well.
Insult to injury.
Brentford. Conference League, we get to the final and lose. Damn, spoiler alert straight away. I've seen it straight off the bat. Unbeaten throughout the entire competition.
Well, yeah.
Didn't lose a single game all the way through, not even in the league phase. Played a lot of crappy teams, to be honest, but Sassuolo in the Conference League final, Cameron Archer and Bakayoko are scoring goals for us, but ultimately another final and another defeat. So that's, what was that?
At half time as well. Sickener.
Yeah, so a 9th place finish, 3rd round exit in the FA Cup, quarter-final in the League Cup, runners-up in Europe, pretty decent. What I do want to talk about those transfers, obviously Nassef left, but it wasn't that Villa were left in the doldrums. They had a big takeover and signed Robin Van Persie's son, Shaquille, from Feyenoord for 116 million. Okay, rising to 130 with add-ons. A couple of notable names in the real-life world. Matty Cash finally leaves. He lasts another 7 years. He goes to Leeds for 6 million. John McGinn leaves for Saudi. We get 8 million for him, so we turn a profit on McGinn all those years later. He goes and secures the bag as well. He finishes his Villa career with 369 games Europa League winner, Super Cup winner. Like John McGinn's had a very good time at Aston Villa. And Emi Martinez retires, Matt. 310 games for Villa. His elite mentality is no longer part of this dressing room.
The amount of statues outside Villa Park at this point, there'd be no space for anything else, would there, at this stage? Crikey. Or at this stage, would we have moved by the NEC? Who knows?
That's a good point, actually. We even start Villa Park. Oh, we are, yeah. And it's still 42,000. They've still not done the North Stand. Let's move on. Season 2030, Premier League. A decent amount of green in there. Decent amount of wins. Yeah.
Not many draws, though, so probably evens out quite nicely, actually, by the looks of it, just by virtue there's not many draws.
Random game here that it's selected for me. We've beat Man United away. Shaquille Van Persie finally paying off that transfer fee by scoring twice. What year is this? 2030-31. In this season, we finished 8th again. Europa League this time, which is a nice sign of progress. Still the same kind of teams up there that you'd expect. Bristol City are a mid-table club now. Stoke have been promoted again. They're a mid-table club, pretty much. Wolves have gone down again. Good, nice to see.
Can I just point out there's 6 teams qualifying for the Champions League?
Oh, yeah. All the way down to 6th for the Champions League. Somebody's won competitions somewhere there, haven't they?
Well, hasn't it?
Okay. Oh, a concert testimonial happened against Brentford, our new arch rivals. Right, Carabao Cup, 4th round exit to Tottenham, 3rd round exit in the FA Cup to Newcastle in a replay, a 3-3 at St James's, and a 2-1 defeat at Villa Park. After Shaquille Van Persie took the lead after the first minute, Villa Park would have been rocking, wouldn't it? On to Europe, it's the Conference League, and it looks like a quarter-final exit to Emery's old team, Villarreal. Lost both legs there, 3-0 away and 2-1 at Villa Park. A decent run besides that, but yeah, a shame. So overall, not a brilliant season out of both domestic cups pretty early. Conference League quarter-finalists, but we have qualified for the Europa League just because there's been so many clubs that have finished for coefficient or trophy wins or whatever. Notable bits and pieces from this year. We spent another 134 million. I mentioned Johan Bakayoko earlier. He goes to Man City for 98 million. PSR well in the good books there. Signed him on a free a few years ago. Almost sold him for 100 million a couple of years later. Names that we know now. Pau Torres goes to Juventus for 22 million, which is a decent move. And Ollie Watkins leaves on a free and goes to Shakhtar for a season. And he's now the club's record scorer. Do you want to have a guess how many he gets?
Ooh, I reckon 110. Hang on, are we talking Premier League or record or all time?
This is just Premier League goals, yeah.
Okay, yeah, 110. No, that's quite
87.
ambitious, actually. Yeah, it doesn't say that might be a bit too ambitious.
Yeah, 87, which is not. I mean, it's good. I like seeing Ollie Watkins be our top scorer, but 87, I'd be surprised if Ollie Watkins plays here till 2030, which is what we are now in real life, 2024. If he plays another 6 seasons and doesn't break the 100 goal mark, I'd be pretty surprised. 2031-32, a decent amount of wins there, to be fair. This looks like a better season to me. Let's go in then straight away with the Premier League. 6th place.
Progress.
Yeah, good sign of progress. It's Europa League again, but that's our highest finish for a while. Finished above Spurs and Liverpool. Bristol City still surviving. Fair play to them. They're doing well. Carabao Cup a quarter-final exit to Liverpool on penalties. Shaquille Van Persie still doing bits for us, getting goals. Love to see that. But an FA Cup 3rd round exit to Leeds. Leeds are cropping up in this a few times, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They're pushing back about on their dirty Leeds.
Europa League, I already saw it earlier. Finalists lost to Man United. That would sting, wouldn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it sounds about right, though, doesn't it? To be honest, they always seem to be our foes in these situations. But
yeah,
the results though that we got to get there is pretty impressive. Though Galatasaray beating them, Lyon.
I mean, you'd be gutted not to win the trophy, wouldn't you? If you look at those results, Villa won every single game bar one.
Yeah, and that was in the quarters as well. Yeah.
Yeah, in the second leg, we were already 2-1 up in the first leg against Wolfsburg. You've beat every single side, and then you get to the final and lose to Man United, who, let's face it, Villa would want to be beaten at this stage. Yeah. Okay, right, let's move on again to season number 10, 2032-33, Premier League. Again, a mixed bag. I don't think that we're not seeing any season here, are we, where Villa kind of win most of their games like we have done in the year just gone where we've finished fourth in real life. We're not seeing Villa put a run like that together.
No, it looks fairly rosy though. I mean, from what at that glance look, we essentially win a couple on the bounce, then losing a couple on the bounce, rinse and repeat for the season. So, again, not many draws though either. So you'd take that overall.
8th again, but Champions League.
Oh, hello.
So we must have won. We must have won something. We'll come back to that in a second. Bristol City, story of this little episode. They've finally been relegated. Leeds, although they keep cropping up, they're still not doing anything special in the league. Chelsea winners, a low league win this year, 79. You don't see that very often. So Villa qualify for the Champions League, so they've won something. So let's get back out of the Premier League and get back to their schedule. And they've got a Europa League win again. Nice. Europa League winners, mate, for the second time. Unai Emery's favourite competition, scored Shaquille Van Persie and Yuri Alberto, the two top Villa scorers. Another Europa League for Unai Emery. He's second with the Villa. And
Shaquille Van Persie's on the score sheet as well. He's paid for his £130 million transfer in one goal, hasn't he?
Done very well throughout. We lost the first leg in the quarterfinal to Spurs, won the second leg on penalties. That's a defining moment right there. Semi-final, we lost the first leg to Lille, won the second leg 3-1. Good mentality from Villa. Their name is on the trophy. Cup competitions, FA Cup semi-finalists, defeat to Chelsea, who were league winners, as we've just seen, and a Carabao Cup third round exit to Wolves, 4-0. We must have played the kids.
Must have done. Who's Gary? Gary, somebody's got to send us off. We've got a Gary playing for us in 2030.
Gary Stevens. A Welsh 34-year-old, or 34 at this time, left back. What did he do for Villa? We signed him on... he came through the academy. He's an academy graduate, mate. He's one of our own. Gary Stevens, he's one of our own. We sold him for 54 million to Sheffield United. Fair play. Let's go forward one more time to 2033-34. Lots more yellow and red in this opening section. There's a Kamara testimonial against Marseille. Is Kamara still there all these years later? Premier League then. Let's have a quick look. 9th, no European football. That's disappointing, isn't it? After being Europa League winners.
Yeah, we're falling off a cliff. It's not looking good.
Cup competitions, we've had an Archer testimonial as well, which we lost in. We've got the Euro Sam Challenge again. We've won that, whatever that is. Rory Wilson. Yeah, 2-time winners in that. FA Cup 5th round, quarterfinal defeat to Man City, and a Carabao Cup 4th round exit to Middlesbrough. So no Europe. 9th, Carabao Cup, pretty rubbish. FA Cup quarterfinal, meh. Champions League, we get to the round of 16, so that's not bad. League phase, we've done all right. We've drawn to Real Madrid. We lost to Dortmund, beat Brugge, Atalanta, Benfica, Shakhtar, that's decent. We then had Molde in the playoff round and beat them 6-0 on aggregate, and then faced Inter in the round of 16, losing 4-1 at Villa Park, not good, and then a draw at the San Siro.
I'd be leaving on 80 minutes at 4-1 down to Inter, I must admit.
If I scroll down one little bit more, boop, there we go. UEFA Super Cup winners again. Second time with that as well. AC Milan this time. So we've won, 2 Europa Leagues, 2 Super Cups. We've got to a couple of domestic cup finals, but not won one of those yet. And we've had, I think, 6th place is our best league finish so far, which it's decent. Villa have not been great in the cups or in the league, but they've always been around Europe. And considering we're now, 10 years into the future, or 11 years into the future, that's pretty good going, I suppose.
And we've won the European Sam Cup twice, don't forget that.
That is true. Top scorer, finally, Shaquille Van Persie. Have a guess how many he's got. We've had a lot of low scorers so far, so the fact I'm even mentioning this means it must be notable.
Did he finally break the 20-goal mark that's still long-standing?
He did, yes. He got 21 in the league, which finally beats Peter With's record, and it took till 2034. As we said, there was a Kamara testimonial. He played 11 seasons at Villa and had 320 appearances. So I think he retired. So a nice kind of rounded out career for him there at Villa. Season 12 now. We're going to fast forward again, straight into the schedule. Not bad. Again, it feels like I'm looking at the screen that I've seen the last few times. Like So there's a few bits of green in there, but then plenty of red as well.
Yeah, the bed sheets are definitely back out by Christmas, aren't they, as well? That run where you've got Newcastle over Chelsea, Dunelm's sales are going up at that point, I think.
10th. As fair, we're not dropping out. We finished 11th one year, but we've always been in the top half at least, but no Europe again. Newcastle finished 12th and qualified for the Champions League, so they must have won the Europa League. West Ham have now finished 5th. That's a decent season for them. Brentford's still up there. Domestic Cups, we've got a Carabao Cup semi-final, defeat to Chelsea again. We had a Ben Cruzine testimonial. Nice. FA Cup 4th round, defeat to Charlton in a replay.
Charlton don't look like they're in the Prem at that point either, so that's lower league getting knocked out. That's an upset.
Yeah, in my notes, I've got basically nothing notable besides Van Persie's top scorer again with 16 this time. Yuri Alberto, he finally leaves to Luton on a free. Scored 5 goals for them. And it was the first time that he didn't get above double figures. He had 10 consecutive years of 10 or more goals at Villa, and then went to Luton and got 5. And Cameron Archer also finally leaves. He also goes to Luton, follows Yuri Alberto to keep the partnership alive. He goes off to Luton as well. Have a guess how many goals Cameron Archer ends up scoring for Villa in this alternative universe?
56.
78.
Wow.
He absolutely smashes it. Like he's almost as good as Watkins in the game, which is crazy. Season 13, we're absolutely going to blast through because looking at my notes, there's basically nothing happens. Villa go out in the Carabao Cup in the 3rd round to Man United, obviously. We go out in the FA Cup 5th round to Middlesbrough. Again, there's no Europe to talk about, and there's a lot of yellow and red because Villa finished 11th, which is just so meh. Bristol City have come back up and gone down again, but the one to watch here is Leeds, who have finished 5th and qualified for the Champions League. They've come up from nowhere in the game and done well. Tottenham are also winning Premier Leagues now, which is insane. I mean, come on, how realistic is this game? Shaquille Van Persie got 15 again. He's starting to be a consistent goal scorer now, but a very meh season and really not one to dwell on. So I'm going to fast forward straight away without even letting you answer me, Matt, and go to the next season. We're going to finish 13th.
Slippery slope. Luton are above us as well.
And Sheffield United.
Oof.
Tottenham have won back-to-back leagues, by the way, and Leeds have qualified for the Champions League for 2 years in a row, which is, you feel like Villa are missing out here on something, don't you? Again, I've got no notes because nothing happens. We have a 4th round exit in the FA Cup. We get to the League Cup of the semi-final. We lose to West Ham, 1-1 away, and then they batter us at Villa Park 3-0. No European competition. And Shaquille Van Persie is still top scorer with 14. And that is, again, all there is to it.
You know what this feels like? It's the new consortium. There's he's spent big money on Shaquille Van Persie, and then since then it looks like he's spent 0 money and just left Emery to it, and it's all gone off the rails, hasn't it? Okay, let's go forward again. 37, 38. Villa finished 10th. Okay, heading in the right direction. I mean, Sheffield United finished above us again, so you'd hazard a guess that they're decent at this stage of time. Leeds again finished 4th. Champions League again for Leeds. Tottenham runners up this time. FA Cup 4th round exit to Leeds, who are kind of becoming a bit of a powerhouse now, and a Carabao Cup 4th round exit to Arsenal. Again, as you'd expect, Arsenal are still good, so pretty, again, rubbish season really. 10th is decent, but not really what you want. This is season 15 now. Now, as we said, we gave Emery a contract to, it would be 2041-42, which is when Emery turns 70. He cannot be, what was it? He can't leave. Yeah. He can be sacked, but he can't resign or move to another club.
Exactly, yeah. So this is where it all starts to unfold, Matt, to be honest. Villa have had a run now finishing mid-table. They finished 10th, 11th, 13th, 10th again. But if we go into the season 2038, 2039, and just have a quick look at the season, if you look at those dots, what do you think's happened here?
I mean, surely relegation, or as close to. I mean, how many wins is there? About 5?
Come to the league in a second, very quickly. The Cups, a 4th round exit in the FA Cup to Man United, Carabao Cup 3rd round exit to Wrexham. And what league are Wrexham in at this stage?
League One still.
League One. Yeah, Wrexham are still in League One, which is mental. So that's a bad result. But the Premier League is the one. There's not many green dots there. Villa have not won many games. Aston Villa and Unai Emery are relegated from the Premier League. He lasts, 15 seasons of relative success, a couple of Europa Leagues, mid-table finishes, top 7-ish, kind of getting to cup finals. Then there's a period of mid-table decline. getting knocked out in the early stages of the domestic trophies, and ultimately we've gone from 10th to 18th in one season, 32 points. We've won 7 games all season in the league. I mean, we beat Liverpool and Tottenham, which is crazy. Not good. Leeds again, Champions League club, they're third now. Brighton are finishing up there. West Ham are finishing up there. Sheffield United are mid-table, and Villa under Unai Emery, which is crazy. He's getting on a bit now, to be fair. Are relegated.
It's been coming, hasn't it? I mean, there's a few times where I threatened the bed sheets, and by this time, I'm going to be in my 40s. You're going to be in your 40s. We're going to be a bit angsty at the Villa, aren't we? We're going to be a bit like the people we probably sit by at times. So yeah, understandable frustration, and it's been a good reign for him. It's upsetting it's had to end on such a sour note, but we'll always remember him for them cups, won't we?
Brought success to Villa. It's got a little bio here. Emery enjoyed a 17-year spell at Villa. During his tenure, Emery's team won the European South American Club Challenge. I love that that's the first one. In 25 and 33, the UEFA Super Cup in 25 and 33, and won the Europa League in 25 and 33. So we've won the Europa League and the Super Cup in the same, obviously at the same seasons. So we've had like a couple of years that have had like really intense success, like really, really good. A lot of mid-table, and then ultimately relegation, which is mad to think about. But you know, we are talking 16 seasons into the future here. Like a lot of things can change. So there are obviously 3 more seasons in this save to get to Emery being 70. Villa were relegated. Emery is sacked. We appoint a guy called Dan Potts.
No idea.
Villa are champions of the Championship with 95 points. They do very, very well. I will put some screenshots here on screen. I just don't want to keep clicking around. FA Cup, 4th round exit, lost to Leicester. Doesn't really matter. It's all about getting back to the Premier League. League Cup, 1st round exit. 1st round, we're in now. We lost to Grimsby. Obviously, no European competition. Our biggest win is a 3-0 against Birmingham City. Lovely. And our top scorer is a young lad called Kenny Williams. Obviously, the players at this stage are made up. He scores 25 in the Championship. The following season, Villa are back in the Premier League and finished 16th, so they survive under Dan Potts. Fair play to him. FA Cup, a 4th round exit. We lose to Watford in a replay. In the League Cup, we get to the quarter-final, which, you know, as we go through Emery's tenure, that's like underwhelming. But Villa to be back promoted, quarter-finalists, you know, that's heading in the right direction.
Yeah.
Our top scorer this year, very underwhelming, with 9, Willie Tarnagda. Fair play, Willie. We then appoint Tiago Carpini as manager. Final season then, Matt, 2041-42, season 19. Unai Emery turns 70 that year and retires. Tiago Carpini, what do you think he does for Villa in the final season?
Going by how bad it's been, I'm going to say we skirt relegation. 17th.
20th. Villa are relegated for the second time in 3 years. 27 points. Kenny Williams, the Championship top scorer with 25 a few years ago, he's top scorer in the Premier League this year with 9 again. FA Cup and League Cup, we go out at the first opportunity. Obviously no European competition, and we get battered most weeks. Which is a real kind of sad state of affairs for Aston Villa at this stage. To be relegated twice in 3 or 4 seasons is crap. Emery is obviously sacked. I don't think Emery takes another job after us and retires, which, you know, listen, fair play. Just to round up Villa, 2 relegations, but only one of those was on Emery's watch. 1 Championship title, not on Emery's watch. FA Cup runners once, so we don't win the FA Cup in the next 19 seasons. The drought goes on. League Cup semi-finalists on 3 occasions. We don't win that either. So Villa have not won a domestic trophy still since 1996, and we're now to 2042. As you say, I'll be very old. You say 40s earlier. I'll be nearly in my 60s at that point. We won the European South America Club Challenge twice, Conference League runners-up, Super Cup twice, and the Europa League twice. 17 seasons under Emery, and then only 7 of those seasons we weren't in Europe. So we had 10 years in Europe under Emery, which is, you know, pretty good going.
There's a running theme there, though. Even in modern day time, Unai's record in domestic cups isn't brilliant, but in Europe's brilliant. So there you go. Have that, FM. I think it might be correct on that front, to be fair.
So that is that, Matt. I will have added some screenshots in this last bit. Obviously, we did the screen record throughout, but there's a lot of information to take on, but really, really good fun to go through. A big thank you to Humberto Solano for putting that database together and putting the time and energy into getting those results for us to talk about. Ultimately, what would you say if that pans out exactly as it does? How would you describe Emery?
Absolute icon, but he's probably left the season too late. And it seems like the new consortium's the problem, so I'd lay the blame at the board there. I don't think it would be on Emery's shoulders that I'd blame him. I mean, the statue would be up after probably this season, ironically, but in reality, if we went 2 Europas, 2 Super Cups and 2 Europe Sam Cups, then put more than one statue up for all I care, put one on all 4 corners of the ground. So relegation or not, that's on the consortium for me.
If you enjoyed this content and you've got other suggestions for us, so like, for example, put John McGinn at striker for 10 seasons and just see what happens. Is he actually good there? Like, you can think anything you can think of football related, you can kind of run it through Football Manager and see what happens. This was giving Unai Emery a lifetime contract. We would have liked him to stay till 70, but we were allowed to sack him. He just could never leave. And ultimately, a relegation does require a sacking, sadly. So thanks for the memories, Unai, but it was time to go. Matt, thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching or listening to this episode, and we'll see you on the next one.